The whispers of your soul led you here. Trust that you're exactly where you need to be. What if I told you that the key to unlocking sharper memory, emotional clarity, and even longer life lies not in a new supplement or fitness routine, but in your grandmother's mysterious habit of waking at 4 a.m.? It sounds absurd at first. After all, we're a society obsessed with sleep deprivation and burning the candle at both ends. But what if we'd been looking at sleep all wrong? In our rush to dominate the day, we've forgotten the wisdom of the night. Once reserved for prayer, creativity, and silent reflection, the early morning hours are now dismissed as an inconvenience or a problem to be medicated away. Yet across cultures and continents, older adults still wake with the stars, and emerging research suggests this might not be a flaw in aging, but a window into the body's deeper intelligence. Whether you're in your 20s or 70s, if you found yourself staring at the ceiling in the dark wondering why sleep feels so elusive, this is the conversation you didn't know you needed. Type "I'm ready to learn" if you're curious about how early rising could be affecting your mind and body, whether you're 18 or 80. 1. Why older adults continue to wake up at 4 a.m. Waking up in the early hours is a nearly universal experience among aging adults, and it's not just due to aches, anxiety, or the call of nature. Scientists now recognize a phenomenon known as Advanced Sleep Phase Syndrome, ASPS, where the body's circadian rhythm, the internal clock that governs wakefulness and sleep, shifts forward with age. This biological shift causes individuals to become sleepy earlier in the evening and awaken far earlier than they might have in younger years, sometimes at 4 a.m. or even earlier. While society often frames this as a disruption or a deficiency, anthropological evidence suggests something more profound. In ancient communities, staggered sleep schedules among different age groups provided evolutionary advantages. When older members of the tribe rose early, they became natural night watchers, guardians of the hearth and keepers of wisdom, allowing the younger, more physically active members to sleep undisturbed. This staggered pattern may have ensured community survival, particularly in environments filled with nocturnal dangers. So when your grandfather rises with the moon, he might not be battling broken sleep, he may be enacting a role his body remembers from tens of thousands of years ago. Far from being a problem, his early waking could be a ritual coded in his DNA, a quiet continuation of ancestral rhythm and vigilance. Type "Wisdom wakes early" if you think waking early might be more natural than we thought. 2. The unexpected health benefits of waking early. In a world dominated by productivity hacks and performance metrics, there's a hidden edge few are talking about: the power of waking early. While the phrase "early bird gets the worm" might sound like a platitude, neuroscience and clinical studies are now backing it with hard evidence. Waking during the pre-dawn hours, especially consistently, has been linked to a range of health benefits: improved mental clarity, reduced levels of depression, and even a decreased risk for heart disease and certain cancers. The biological reason lies partly in our hormonal architecture. Cortisol, a hormone often demonized for its association with stress, actually plays a crucial role in waking us up and sharpening our alertness, when timed properly. For early risers, cortisol levels peak just as they rise, priming their brain for enhanced cognition and task performance. This is why many successful people, CEOs, writers, spiritual leaders, swear by their 4 to 5 a.m. routines. Their brains are simply optimized for peak function at that hour. In addition, these early hours offer an unmatched quietude that the rest of the day cannot replicate. There are fewer distractions, less digital noise, and more mental space to think deeply or create meaningfully. For older adults, this time may also be when they feel most emotionally balanced and spiritually centered. They report a sense of clarity and peacefulness that seems to dissolve by midday. It's as if the early morning doesn't just sharpen the mind, it steadies the soul. Writing hand type morning wins if you've ever noticed how powerful early mornings can be for your clarity and focus. 3. The hidden downsides of early wake-ups, and why it's not always good. But before you throw away your alarm clock and join the 4 a.m. club, you need to hear the other side of the story, the one most wellness gurus gloss over. Not all early waking is voluntary or beneficial. For many older adults, waking at 4 a.m. is a symptom of something more troubling: fragmented sleep, low sleep efficiency, and often, untreated health conditions. One of the biggest culprits is chronic pain, whether it's from arthritis, fibromyalgia, or postural issues, which tends to flare during the night and can push the brain out of deeper sleep cycles. Other issues include nocturia, frequent nighttime urination, anxiety, or even the early stages of neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, which alter sleep architecture long before memory loss begins. When someone wakes prematurely and can't return to sleep, they may lose crucial phases of slow-wave sleep, the restorative stage responsible for muscle repair, immune function, and memory consolidation. Over time, this chronic undersleeping doesn't just result in fatigue, it chips away at the brain's ability to detoxify itself, elevating risks of dementia, heart disease, and even early death. Worse still, many people don't realize this erosion is happening until it's far progressed. Waking early becomes normalized, even applauded by society, while underneath, the body is waving a red flag. So while early rising has its virtues, it's critical to differentiate between a biologically harmonious rhythm and a health-disrupting pattern masked as discipline. Type sleep is sacred if you agree that broken sleep can be dangerous, no matter when it starts. 4. How your sleep today predicts your brain tomorrow. It might surprise you to know that your brain is aging, not just with time, but with how and when you sleep. Neuroscientists now understand that sleep architecture, the structure of our sleep composed of light, deep, and REM stages, begins to deteriorate subtly as early as our 30s. When we consistently wake at 4 a.m., whether we are 35 or 75, we may be missing out on the most crucial stages of deep sleep that occur predominantly in the early part of the night. These phases are not just for rest, they are when the brain performs its most vital housekeeping functions. One of the most groundbreaking findings in neuroscience in the last decade is the role of the glymphatic system, a waste clearance pathway in the brain that becomes highly active during deep sleep. It's during this time that the brain flushes out beta amyloid and tau proteins, compounds that are strongly linked to the development of Alzheimer's disease. If you're waking too early and not getting enough of this restorative sleep, you're not just tired, you're depriving your brain of its nightly detox. Even if you go to bed early to match your circadian shift, waking prematurely can cut this process short. Young people who stay up late and older adults who rise too early are often making the same mistake from opposite ends, disrupting the brain's natural restoration cycle. Over time, these sleep interruptions become compounding risks for cognitive decline, emotional instability, and accelerated aging. Type "Protect my brain" if you want to fight back against silent brain aging starting tonight. 5. The secret role of melatonin and light exposure. Most people think of melatonin as just another over-the-counter supplement for occasional sleep troubles, but in reality, it's a powerful hormone intricately tied to the rise and fall of the sun, and it plays a pivotal role in determining why older adults wake so early. As we age, the pineal gland, which produces melatonin, becomes less active, leading to lower levels of this crucial hormone. Melatonin acts as a kind of biological dimmer switch, signaling to the brain that it's time to wind down, lower core body temperature, and shift toward a rest state. When melatonin production is disrupted either by natural decline with age or by poor sleep hygiene, the entire rhythm of the sleep-wake cycle can unravel. Compounding this issue is our modern exposure to artificial light, particularly blue light from screens. Type "more light by day, less light by night" if you're willing to adjust your screen habits for better sleep. 6. Is 4 a.m. the spiritual hour? Or just bad sleep hygiene? There's a reason why monks, yogis, and mystics throughout history have chosen the hours between 3 and 5 a.m. for their most sacred rituals. These twilight hours are often referred to in spiritual traditions as the Brahma Muhurta in Ayurveda and the Veil hours in mystical Christianity, a time when the boundary between the physical and the spiritual world is said to be at its thinnest. During this window, the world is quiet, the air is still, and the mind is naturally more contemplative and less tethered to the ego's chatter. It's no coincidence that great poets, philosophers, and spiritual teachers have found their deepest insights in these silent hours. Waking at 4 a.m. then, can be seen as more than a sleep issue. It might be a soul whisper, an invitation to deeper awareness. But here's the catch: there's a very fine line between sacred wakefulness and chronic sleep disruption. Many people who wake at this time are not sitting in lotus position awaiting enlightenment, they're lying awake in bed, wrestling with anxiety, financial stress, or the gnawing regret of a life moving too fast. What masquerades as a mystical hour can often be a cry for help from the nervous system, begging for calm and restoration. So how do you know which one you're experiencing? Ask yourself, does waking up feel like a calling or a curse? Are you drawn to silence and clarity, or are you dreading the long hours until sunrise? One offers spiritual awakening. The other demands a different kind of healing, perhaps just as sacred. Type "awakened," not anxious if you believe in balancing spiritual insights with healthy sleep. 7. The sleep diet, foods that affect your wake times. You may think your sleep issues are all in your head, or perhaps in your age, but what if the true culprit is sitting right on your dinner plate? The connection between diet and sleep is one of the most overlooked aspects of both nutrition and insomnia science. What, and when you eat can have profound effects on your ability to not only fall asleep but to stay asleep. Late-night consumption of sugars, caffeine, alcohol, or even spicy foods can disrupt blood sugar levels and activate the sympathetic nervous system, exactly when your body should be relaxing into parasympathetic rest and digest mode. For example, consuming alcohol at dinner may initially make you feel drowsy, but it actually fragments sleep, increasing the chances you'll wake in the early morning hours. The same goes for caffeine, which can linger in your bloodstream for up to 12 hours. But it's not just about avoiding the wrong foods, it's also about eating the right ones. Magnesium-rich foods like leafy greens, almonds, and bananas can promote muscle relaxation and deeper sleep. Tart cherries are one of the few natural food sources of melatonin, and when eaten regularly in the evening, they've been shown to improve both sleep duration and quality. For older adults, ensuring balanced meals that stabilize blood sugar through the night is particularly crucial. A sudden drop in glucose levels at 3 or 4 a.m. can trigger the release of cortisol and adrenaline, jolting you awake with no clear reason. You didn't just wake up, you were nutritionally ambushed. Type fuel for dreams if you're ready to eat your way to better sleep. 8. How to reset your sleep clock, no matter your age. If you feel like your internal clock is broken, there's good news: you can reset it. This isn't wishful thinking. It's a well-studied, science-backed method called chronotherapy, and it's one of the most powerful tools in the sleep specialist's arsenal. Chronotherapy involves gradually shifting your circadian rhythm through controlled changes in light exposure, meal timing, activity levels, and sleep-wake schedules. For example, if you've been waking at 4 a.m. every morning, the solution may not be forcing yourself back to bed or resorting to sleeping pills. Instead, you could begin by delaying your bedtime by 15 minutes every few nights, combining this with intentional exposure to bright natural light shortly after waking and avoiding screens or artificial light at least 90 minutes before bed. These small adjustments can begin to recalibrate your suprachiasmatic nucleus, the part of the brain responsible for keeping your circadian rhythm on time. But the secret weapon here is consistency. Your body is a rhythm machine. It craves predictability. Even something as simple as eating dinner at the same time each evening, dimming the lights as the sun goes down, and taking a short walk in the morning sun can signal to your body when to sleep and when to rise. For older adults whose natural melatonin levels are already in decline, these external cues become even more vital. Resetting your clock isn't about force, it's about respect. Respect for the body's timing, the mind's needs, and the soul's longing for rest. Type reset me if you're ready to take back control of your sleep schedule. 9. What to do when you wake at 4 a.m. and can't go back to sleep. If you've ever stared at the ceiling at 4 a.m. heart racing, mind whirring, desperately counting the hours until your alarm, you know the anguish of middle-of-the-night insomnia. But here's the counterintuitive truth: trying to force sleep often makes it even harder to return to it. Sleep isn't a task you can accomplish by sheer will, it's an invitation that must be accepted with calm, not coercion. So what should you do when you wake up before the world? First, avoid the one mistake that most people make: checking the clock. Seeing the time instantly triggers anxiety and performance pressure. I only have 3 hours left, which spikes cortisol and makes your nervous system more alert. Instead, practice a soft wakefulness. Stay lying down if you feel comfortable, and begin by focusing on your breath, 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out. This extends the exhale, triggering the parasympathetic nervous system and helping the body feel safe enough to fall back asleep. If you feel wide awake after 20 to 30 minutes, get out of bed and go somewhere dimly lit. Read a paper book, journal your thoughts, or engage in quiet meditation. Avoid screens or anything mentally stimulating. You're not trying to get tired, you're creating a gentle space for sleep to return. And sometimes, when sleep doesn't come, that's okay too. Those early hours can still be sacred. Many people find that their best insights, poetry, prayers, and epiphanies arrive during this liminal time. Don't always fear the wake-up. Sometimes, it's your soul asking to be heard. Type "I'm listening" if you're open to using your wake-ups wisely instead of wasting them on worry. You're not broken, you're being invited. Here's the truth, you're not alone. Millions wake up at 4 a.m. wondering if they're broken, old, or just unlucky. But the message hidden in those early hours is far deeper than you've been told. Whether it's the gentle stirrings of an aging circadian rhythm, an undiagnosed sleep condition, an anxious mind, or a soul calling you into stillness, every early waking has a message. The real work isn't just getting back to sleep. It's asking what this moment is trying to reveal. For some, it's a health issue needing attention. For others, it's an invitation to slow down, tune in, and shift from a life of burnout to one of alignment. No two journeys look alike, but all are valid. Maybe you'll try adjusting your light habits. Maybe you'll reconsider what's on your plate after 8 p.m. Maybe you'll meet your 4 a.m. wake-up not with frustration, but with curiosity. Whatever you choose, know this: waking up early does not make you less healthy or more enlightened by default. It makes you human. The goal is not just to sleep more, it's to understand yourself more deeply, to live in rhythm with your body, not in conflict with it. You don't need to force yourself into someone else's schedule. You need to find your own. And when you do, you won't just sleep better. You'll live better. Rested. Rooted. Whole. Type "I'm listening to my body" if you're ready to turn your 4 a.m. wake-ups into wisdom.